Happy Women's History Month. I know in one of my videos last month I said it was Women's History Month, but that's because I'm re-recording all my videos and I feel like I'm losing my mind because I can't keep track of anything, okay? But you're getting content this year, is what I know, and it's what you know as well. Let's talk about my good sister Andrea Jenkins. Andrea Jenkins, born May 10th, 1961, is an American politician, writer, performance artist, poet, and transgender activist. She is known for being the first Black openly transgender woman elected to public office in the United States, serving since January 2018 on the Minneapolis City Council, and as the council's president since January 2022, honey, this year, okay? Jenkins moved to Minnesota to attend the University of Minnesota in 1979 and was hired by the Hennepin County government, where she worked for a decade. Jenkins worked as a staff member on the Minneapolis City Council for 12 years before beginning work as curator of the Transgender Oral History Project at the University of Minnesota's Jean Nicholas Tretzer Collection in Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Studies. Which sounds like an interesting program, honey. I might have to look into it. Let's go to early life and education. Born in 1961, Andrea Jenkins was raised in North Lawndale, Chicago. She has said she grew up in a low-income working-class community and lived in some pretty rough places. She was raised by a single mother, Shirley Green, who was very loving and very much concerned that we get a good education. When she was young and still presenting as male, she participated in the Cub Scouts and played football at Robert Lindblom Math and Science Academy before moving to Minneapolis in 1979 to attend the University of Minnesota. In her 20s, Jenkins came out as gay, married a woman. I don't know how she got there. She came out as gay and married a woman, became a parent and divorced. I mean, I can see her coming out as gay as a woman because she a woman, married a woman, would be gay. But she came out as gay and then married a woman while presenting as male, and I'm confused. Because maybe she came out as gay on the inside being trans. I don't know. That's not my business, honestly. She came out as gay, married a woman, became a parent, and divorced. At 30, she began to outwardly present as At 30, she began to outwardly present as female and returned to college to finish her bachelor's degree from Metropolitan State University, which she followed by earning 2 master's degrees, honey, because she's a genius, and an MFA in creative writing from Hamline University, and a MS, honey, a master's of science in community economic development from Southern New Hampshire, honey, University, during which Jenkins worked as a vocational counselor for the Hennepin County government. In 2018, Jenkins completed Harvard University's John F. Kennedy School of Government program for senior executives in state and local government as a David Bonnet LGBTQ Victory Institute Leadership Fellow. So she's just really singing in that girl, honestly. Moving on to career and the subcategory local government, if you're reading with me on the Wikipedia. Jenkins worked for a decade as a vocational counselor with Hennepin County. In 2001, Robert Lilly Green, who was running for a seat on the Minneapolis City Council, asked Jenkins to be a part of his campaign. After his election, Jenkins joined Lilly Green's staff, where she worked as an aide for 4 years. In 2005, Elizabeth Glidden was elected to the city council and hired Jenkins as an aide, in part for Jenkins' extensive network that she had built up during her time in Lilly Green's office. While on Glidden's staff, Jenkins earned a fellowship dedicated to transgender issues and helped to establish the Transgender Issues Work Group in 2014. That year, she organized a city council summit on transgender equality, honey, and intended to highlight the issues trans people in Minnesota face. In 2015, after 12 years as a policy aide with the Minneapolis City Council, Jenkins began work at the University of Minnesota's Jean Nicholas Tretter Collection in Gay, Lesbian, Bisexual, and Transgender Studies, where saying LGBT out loud, or GLBT, however you say your pronoun. Your pronoun. What's wrong with me? Your acronym. Saying the words, I always get tripped up because I just want to say LGBTQ and and let God be true quickly. Anyway, where she curated the Transgender Oral History Project, TOHP. Lisa Vicoli, or Vicoli, I don't know, curator of the Tretter Collection, noted that the materials within the collection tend to be gay, white male focused. And we don't love that, honey. We don't love that. There are so many other cultures and people, gender spectrum, non-gendered people that need to be represented, honey. And we don't care nothing about the gay white males. No, we don't care nothing about. We love Harvey Milk. Anyway, in her role as curator of the TOHP, Jenkins will seek to expand the trans narratives archived in the collection by recording oral histories from up to 300 individuals, totaling as many as 400 hours of interviews. And I need to get into that. I love a good history, a good lesson. Moving on to Minneapolis City Council. Jenkins announced in December, 2016, that she would run to represent Minneapolis's 8th Ward on the City Council. Glidden, who held the seat, announced that she would not run for re-election. Jenkins' campaign slogan was Leadership, Access, Equity. With Hayden Mora, Jenkins founded the Trans United Fund, a political action committee to aid transgender candidates. On November 2017, Jenkins won the election with more than 70% of the vote because she is that girl. The Minneapolis City Council has only had 6 other black members. Because when you think of Minnesota, only black person you think of is Prince, and he's half. He's black, but that mama. Why do I do these things? She was elected vice president of City Council by her fellow councilors shortly after her election. Since then, she has also served as a chair of the New Race Equity Subcommittee and helped to create a Racial Equity Community Advisory Committee consisting of city residents. The 8th Ward that Jenkins represents includes the 38th Street and Chicago Avenue intersection where George Floyd was murdered by a Minneapolis police officer on May 25th, my birthday, 2020. Despite initially supporting abolishment of the Minneapolis Police Department following the murder of George Floyd, Jenkins later decided, following a recent wave of shooting, to instead support having police still respond to calls and do their job to serve and protect the community, and instead settled for supporting effort for Minneapolis to focus on creating more schools, housing, and other services that prevent people from pursuing crime or turning to violence. Jenkins supported efforts to reopen George Floyd Square, an occupied protest of a street intersection that persisted for over a year after Floyd's murder, but wanted to also establish a permanent memorial there. Jenkins was re-elected to the Minneapolis City Council in November 2021 and was named City Council President on January 10th, 2022, which was yesterday, because I'm pre-recording. Literally yesterday. Sickening! In a unanimous vote. Now, mind you, I've had her on my list of people to talk about for like 2 months now. I did not know she was going to win this city council president, child, on yesterday. Vehicle blocking incident. On June 27, 2021, Jenkins, the vice president of the Minneapolis City Council, was involved in a confrontation with racial justice activists at a pride event in downtown Minneapolis. A group that included Donald Hooker Jr., a leader with Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar, referring to Jamar Clark, blocked the car Jenkins was a passenger in for several hours and presented a list of 6 demands that Jenkins was asked to sign her agreement to. The demands included dropping charges against protesters in recent demonstrations, calling for the immediate resignation of Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, continuing the closure of George Floyd Square, and providing more information about investigations of recent police killings. After Jenkins signed the agreement, activists moved out of the way to allow the vehicle to drive away. Hooker posted a 23-minute video of part of the encounter to Facebook. In a statement about the incident, Jenkins said she was treated inhumanely and held against her will by the demonstrators. The editorial board of the Star Tribune newspaper criticized what is described as an attempted intimidation of Jenkins, and compared aspects of the blocking incident to the 2021 United States Capitol attack. Media recognition. In 2010, Jenkins won the Naked Stages grant from the Jerome Foundation and Pillsbury House Theater. She created Body Parts, Reflections on Reflections. Jenkins was one of several dozen women featured in the January 29, 2018 Time cover. The article was about the many women who ran for office in 2017 and 2018. 5 of the women featured were lesbian and transgender candidates, all recipients of money from the LGBTQ Victory Fund. In January 2020, in honor of the 50th anniversary of the first LGBTQ Pride Parade, which was not a parade, it was a riot, but okay, whoever wrote this article, Queerty named her among the 50 heroes leading the nation towards acceptance, and dignity for all people. Personal life. Jenkins is a performance artist, poet, and writer who identifies as bisexual and queer. She is a grandmother. Her own mother now lives in Ward 8. She has a partner of 8 years. Jenkins was diagnosed, oh no, now my sister got multiple sclerosis in 2018. Oh, we're praying for her. She has participated in the Trans Lives Matter movement and chaired the board of Intermedia Arts. In 2015, Jenkins was Grand Marshal of the Twin Cities Pride Parade. Jenkins has cited Barack Obama, Harold Washington, the Black Panther Party, Jeremiah Wright, and Jesse Jackson as having influenced her to be involved with politics. And finally, her bibliography. Jenkins, Andrea, 2006, Tributaries, Poems Exploring Black History, Minneapolis, Minnesota, Purple Lioness Publications. Jenkins, Andrea. November 18, 2015. The Tea is Not Silent, New and Selected Poems from Purple Lioness Productions. Page 86. Jenkins, Andrea, April 1st, 2016. The Price We Pay, How Race and Gender Identity Converge. In Sun Young Shin edition. A Good Time for the Truth, Race in Minnesota, in the Minnesota Historical Society Press. So anyway, girl, my girl is sickening. We love her down, and she's making change, and we love change. Thank you for visiting me here on the Black Women's Black Women's History. Yeah, I'm confused. In the women's history, they're all going to be black because, duh. Segment of whatever we have going on over here on Rambling K. Thank you for joining me. I'll be back next week.